Welcome to Deleted Saves. On this episode, Luigi's Mansion 3 on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo, as far as brands go, have never really been known for horror games. They have always farmed that out to other development studios. Nintendo have, since the 1980s anyway, tried and succeeded at being a family-friendly brand. But every once in a while, they try to branch out into something outside their comfort zone. And it is through the Mario Brothers franchise that they do it. But what did we get in this second sequel to an offshoot Mario Brothers title? Let's look into that with 2019's Luigi's Mansion 3. Long ago, I stated I have never been the biggest fan of Super Mario Brothers. While I have enjoyed some of the Mario RPG titles, the mainline platformers never stuck with me. And even though they have gotten more detailed, colorful, and personality-filled as the decades have gone on, they are, at their core, platform jumping collecting shit games that is nothing I have ever much enjoyed about gaming. But as the lore of the games is common in gaming circles, I know it, whether I wanted to or not. But I have been generally aware of the Luigi's Mansion games since their debut on the GameCube years ago. I just never tried it. Or I didn't know if tracking down a copy when my funds were even more limited than they are now was worth it. So I missed out. And when its sequel went to a handheld device that I didn't have and definitely could not afford to buy, I forgot about it. But when this title was announced, and I have a Switch, technically it's my wife's Switch, I picked up a copy. Why this? Why now? Because despite his somewhat cowardly and awkward personality that has been developed over the years around the character of Luigi, equal parts Nintendo's doing, and I believe the general response to the feedback and feeling the playing public growing up with these characters is thrust onto Luigi, as he was the second player of the little brother no one wanted around when they were playing the NES back in the day, but their mothers insisted. Despite all that, I like Luigi. Far more than his arrogant older brother, that is. If we're going to play into stereotypes, I can do that too. And because just about everyone else in the extended Mario universe has gotten their own game, why would Luigi not be any different? And perhaps the premise of this title best fits the personality of this cartoon character that has been molded to fit him. The problem with a review this late in the series is that both the listener and the reviewer have come in medias res. The premise of the first two games are, very quickly, as follows. Luigi Mario wins a contest within the confines of the Mushroom Kingdom for a free mansion. All he has to do is collect. Well, the problem is Mario, his older brother, cannot leave well enough alone and goes to claim on the ticket instead. When he doesn't return, Luigi goes to investigate, only to find the mansion is haunted and is a trap. And Mario is stuck in a magic painting. While there, Luigi meets a paranormal investigator named Egad and is gifted a new weapon to deal with these spirits, the Poltergust 3000, a literal vacuum cleaner set to suck up spirits. Ghostbusters, the 1984 Ivan Reitman film, was already a comedy about con men and questionable science defeating the paranormal for capitalist profit. Yet somehow Nintendo took that concept to an even further comical extension by sanding the serial numbers off of all the devices and putting a sniveling coward in green in the lead role. Luigi manages to defeat all the ghosts and cleanse said mansion and free Mario. The sequel, named Dark Moon, now encompasses a bunch of mansions invaded by hostile ghosts thanks to a powerful Boo, the ghost enemies of the Mushroom Kingdom, and Professor Egad calls on Luigi to defeat them again, this time with the Poltergust 5000 anti-specter vacuum, as he collects the shattered bits of the Dark Moon crystal and traps the Master Ghost again. And now, here we are in Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi, along with Mario, Princess Peach, the Toads, and Luigi's adoptive ethereal doll Polterpup, have been invited to a place called the Last Resort to vacation in the remote mountains of the whatever Nintendo feels like calling it kingdom. Despite it being obvious that there is something wrong here, none of the Mario crew are paying any more than surface attention to their surroundings or Luigi's nervous condition. That night, as everyone goes to bed, the trap is sprung and the hotel's owner, Helen Gravely, reveals herself to be a ghost working with King Boo, the antagonist of the second game, who she released from Professor Egad's imprisonment and is now seeking revenge on Luigi and his Mushroom Kingdom family. Luigi escapes entrapment in magical portraits, along with his ghost dog, and finds his way to the basement, where he discovers yet another new vacuum-powered phantom dispersal weapon, the Poltergust G00, and he also discovers that Egad was captured as well, but is able to free him quickly. Egad sets up a mobile command in the basement, and the hunt begins. Luigi must cross 17 floors of the hotel searching to release his brother, the princess, and the Toads, and must defeat the ghostly overlords of each themed level of the hotel in search of elevator buttons to ascend to the level above. There are levels such as the TV news channel level, the dinosaur museum level, the movie theater level, the Botanic Gardens level, and many more. If nothing else, Nintendo was able to make each area of the game fairly visually unique, even though the gameplay loop is a repeat pattern of grab ghost with vacuum, slam it all over the room until exhausted, suck it up into ghastly imprisonment, collect needless money, repeat. He is aided by the professor and his undead dog, but with two new items, one that mimics the Virtual Boy, and a creature called Gooigi, a semi-sentient ectoplasmic doppelganger that can be used to solve puzzles. By game's end, Luigi saves Mario, Peach, and the Toads, and must confront Helen and King Boo upon the roof of the hotel. King Boo, angered by his losses, attempts to capture the whole gang in one portrait, fails, and then tries to capture Luigi and the whole hotel in another even larger portrait, in an utterly ridiculous escalation event which destroys the haunted hotel entirely. Boo is recaptured along with Helen, but the other ghosts are set free in the chaos. However, it turns out the actual haunts of the hotel are friendly, and may have been under the mental control of King Boo. In a change of heart, Professor Egad decides to stay and help rebuild their otherworldly hotel home, using the money Luigi picked up along the way, of course. With seemingly no damage done or trauma inflicted on those trapped in the portraits, everyone returns home, and Luigi is once again returned to his place as second-rate Mario brother and the joke of the franchise. End of story, all neatly wrapped up as usual for a family-friendly game. Critics gave this game everyone's favorite rating of generally favorable, of 8 and 9s out of 10s, and it's 86 out of 100 on Metacritic. The level of variety was praised the most, and it is another game in the extended Mario Bros. Cinematic universe. Look, I'm not digging any further into the review pile. It's a Mario game. We get these like every other franchise at regular intervals like clockwork, bland as wallpaper paste, and it was going to get reviewed well enough because it's Nintendo, and keeping them happy is better than not for all the secondary afterbirth outlets that rely on Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft to keep their business models going. But how did I see this game as a non-Mario fan? Well, it was cute. Generic cuteness. Manufactured adorableness, if you will. I liked it. In the same way the natural human inclination is to like cute baby animals or smiling infants or whatever else we instinctively react positively to, because it is a survival trait, in this case capitalized upon to sell product. I would almost say weaponized cuteness, but Luigi's Mansion 3 is otherwise completely inoffensive. It is utterly harmless adventure gaming. It's really baby's first survival horror, without the survival or the horror. And to Nintendo's credit, it is good for them to allow this property to be developed by an outside firm, in this case Next Level Games, rather than in-house as they usually like to do it, and if we're trying, after 35 years, to branch out into at least adjacent ideas for their ideas, rather than just new hardware innovations that the Mario franchise platforming games were molded to fit, or an RPG light. So in a way, it is growth in a positive direction, even if it is a sequel to an offshoot. Really, the true outstanding moments of the game come from the level design. The use of puzzles to fit those levels. I particularly enjoy the kaiju battle in a fake city where a ghost director is filming his masterpiece. But otherwise, this is a pretty flat game. But it is supposed to be an all-encompassing game for the family, suitable for toddlers to grandparents, with comedic elements that mostly land if you don't mind simple pratfall jokes and visual sight gags. It's kind of what I paid for, what we are guaranteed to get from a Nintendo-branded product. Nintendo are controversially adverse, as is their brand. And it is not to say they don't make sparkly rainbow-drenched games that people love and have always loved, but I think I'm not the target audience here. Not to say I only like dark, edgy material. Sorry, folks, I'm too old for that teenage angst edgelord shit. Nor do I only like complex, character-driven, murky gray area, whatever the shit I'm told that, or it is strongly socially implied that I'm only supposed to be interested in as entertainment for adults at my age. Because I may be boring, but I'm not that boring. Not yet, anyway. That is why I wanted to give Luigi's Mansion a try. It was branching out beyond its safe, defined borders to something that might tread the line between light and dark. It doesn't, because again, of course not. It involves characters from a very safe product line. It would be like making a Pokemon game where the little furry shits start fucking each other to death and messily devouring the corpses. Not ever going to happen. Or when someone makes a horror movie out of a Disney property that falls into public domain. A stupid idea from an emotionally stunted person who thinks they are being clever. Yet it was a cautious step in an interesting direction, like a street no one has ever traveled down on the way home. You mostly know the path and how it will play out, but you've never been this way exactly before. Who knows? You might experience something new or make a new friend, or get horribly murdered, but that's the price of adventure. Yet, despite the saccharine outer shell of this game, Luigi's Mansion 3 was worth my time. So I thought. It was my first foray into this franchise, and I think I might be back for more, if I feel so inclined. But that is just my opinion as an outsider. Maybe it won't be for someone who has played the other games. Maybe hardcore Mario players couldn't care less about the multiple ganglion cysts that this franchise gets as it ages. There are entire successful Twitch and YouTube channels of Mario players who only focus on the fan-made levels found in the online ranks of the Mario Maker games, so who am I to say? But for me, it was a good time, taken in short bursts. If you have never played a Luigi's Mansion game before, I would say give it a shot. Luigi Mansion 3 is certainly another one. It exists, and it's not too bad overall. It's cute to the point of silliness, and silliness is the game. It's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, done in a Mario and Luigi flesh, just like the last two. I'm surprised it has hung around as long as it has before getting pruned as a dead branch of the Nintendo tree, and maybe it will yet. But for now, let's just enjoy this Hoover-branded parapsychology-powered ride for a little while longer. Thank you for listening. Deleted Saves would like to thank Brad, Keith Gasper, Orden Wells, and Mass Llama for being patrons of the show. If you would like to become a patron of the show, please go to patreon.com and check out the Deleted Saves podcast. All donations go directly towards maintaining the show itself. Thank you.